everyone, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview as to the oil spill cleanup lab that you're going to be simulating at home. You're going to need some vegetable oil, and what I did with the vegetable oil is I put it into just a smaller Tupperware here. I added a little bit of food coloring. The food coloring doesn't adhere to the oil super well, but you can see at least it's kind of like, I used green. I mean, any color will work. If you don't have any food coloring, that's okay. I have some measuring cups and spoons. I'm going to use this other small Tupperware to like test my materials. And then I have like a bigger cake pan here that I'm going to use for my real oil spill. If you have like an aluminum tray or something like that, that will work as well. The goal is to find about 5 items in your kitchen or in your bathroom or anything that you have around the house that you can test to see how it will do in cleaning up the oil spill. So these are just like some gauze pads that I found. You could use cotton balls. I found some toothpicks. I took like a brown paper bag and just cut up some pieces of that, thinking that I might be able to like scoop up the oil. I have saran wrap, I have aluminum foil that I can maybe put into different configurations, like I could build something out of it. Kitty litter works really well. As a testing item, cotton balls, anything along those lines would be great. And so this is what I have set up. I'm going to use my little Tupperware here for my initial test to see which materials maybe work well in containing the oil spill and cleaning up the oil spill, but yet leaving behind the water. I unfortunately at home don't have any like sand or gravel. If you do, what is really fun to do to make this simulation a little bit more realistic when you get to your real quote unquote oil spill is to put some sand or gravel at one end of your pan and then put it about halfway full of water. You put your oil in and then you can simulate actually cleaning up the beach as well as the water. Okay, so I'm going to start off with testing my materials. Here's my sort of green dyed oil, and then this is my smaller Tupperware. You can use a bowl as well, just something that's smaller size. If we were in the lab, we would be using like a Petri dish, which is about that size. I've just filled it about halfway through of tap water. I'm going to take a tablespoon of my oil mixture here and put that in. Okay, and so the oil is definitely floating on the surface. The food coloring has dissipated into the water itself, so most of the water is green, but I can definitely tell on the surface where the oil is. And I'm gonna try a couple of my tools here. You're gonna be ranking each tool sort of on a scale of like 1 to 5. 1, it doesn't do a very good job. 5, it does a really good job to see how well it contains the oil spill. How well does it do with cleaning up the oil spill? Does it have an environmental impact? Like maybe you put something in your oil spill that makes it even worse than it already was. And remember, if you don't have the food coloring, that's okay. So I'm going to start off with like my cotton here. I have a little lid here that I can put stuff on so that I don't completely disrupt. Now the cotton is getting up some of the oil, but I feel like it's also absorbing a lot of the water in all honesty. And so the goal when you're cleaning up an oil spill is to make sure that the water doesn't come with you. So maybe I would rank this like a 3, a 3.5. It's doing okay. My paper towel, I feel like this might be doing a little bit better. I can definitely see that it's getting the oil. It seems to be not taking up quite as much of the water. So maybe I would rate this like a 4. This also works relatively well as containment. Like I can sort of push the oil to one side. So maybe what would be an interesting idea for me to try, if I get another one of my cotton pieces here, is I can try and use a piece of the brown paper to like keep it in one side and then soak it up onto the cotton. That might be a tool that I could use, sort of putting them both together. I have some toothpicks here. The toothpick really doesn't do very well with containment, in all honesty, but I haven't gotten out my aluminum foil or my saran wrap either. I could potentially like try to attach them to these toothpicks and like make like a tinfoil barrier or something to try and contain it. Your goal, you've seen me look at like 3 items here. I would love for you to try to find 6 things around your house to test in your small little oil to figure out their effectiveness are, and then rank them from 1 to 5. There's a table in the lab count that you will put all that information, and then you're gonna take that and use it to try and figure out, okay, what's the best possible plan to clean up a big oil spill, and you're gonna create your big oil spill into a larger container. So we'll talk about that next. Okay, everyone, welcome back. I now have my larger oil spill. I've done my testing of my 6 products. After you test those 6 products that can potentially clean up your oil spill, anything that you have around the house that you think might work, choose the ones that work best for your real large oil spill. You don't necessarily have to use all of the products. Again, I'm using a relatively large, like 9x13 pan that I might cook brownies in or something like that. It should be a decent size. It could be a little bit smaller. You could definitely use a bigger Tupperware. I just have it about halfway filled up with some water, just my tap water. And then I have my oil. I would say like 1/3 to 1/2 cup of oil that I'm going to dump in. And my plan to try to contain the oil, well, you'll see how successful I am, is I made a tinfoil sort of barrier that I'm going to try to plop in and contain it. And then I have my pieces of paper, just brown paper, that I'm gonna try to scoop up the oil, and we'll see how well I do. You're gonna answer some questions in the lab handout as to how successful you are. Does your plan work or not? I am not grading you in any way, shape, or form if your plan is successful or not. Just be honest with me, and you're gonna share your results on the discussion board, okay? So let's see what happens. Just a little example here. This might actually... There we go, there's my oil spill. Oh, that spread pretty fast. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to contain it or not. Okay, I've got some of it, but some of it has definitely escaped. So you can see this might be a little bit harder than expected. And I'm gonna do my best to clean it up. I'm sure you guys will be more successful than I am. And at the end of the day, this is illustrating to us that yes, it is challenging to clean up an oil spill. It can spread really quickly. It can be detrimental to the environment. And so the goal is not to have them start in the first place. I hope you guys have fun with the lab.